Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You'll never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of the thorns.
Hello YouTube. Today I thought I'd talk about a guy I met in prison when I got to South Central Correctional Center. I can't remember his real name, but he went by Joplin Mo. And he's one of those guys that, young guys that come to prison that, you meet a few of them, that nobody really messes with them, you know, presses them or anything, but they do joke with him and, you know, give him a hard time. He also is one of those guys that always has bad luck. So, right after I got to South Central Correction Center, they was putting all level 5s in there, you know, changing it from a 3 to a 5. And he was one of them that ended up there at about the same time I did. And the first thing he did was get on the softball field, on a softball team. And he hadn't played but I think maybe a couple games, and he was out in the outfield, and the ball came towards him, and he couldn't see it because of the sun, and it hit him right in the mouth, knocked him out, knocked some teeth out. I mean, it was just bad, you know. And but he just kind of, you know, after he came to and everything, and, you know, they took him to medical and everything, he comes back, he just kind of laughs it off. But he had missing teeth and everything. Another time, he worked in the kitchen, and he decided he was going to steal some powdered milk. Well, he gets a bunch of it, and he puts it around his waist, all the way around. And he has me and another guy wrap him up with saran wrap so that he wouldn't, you know, wouldn't fall out or anything. So we did, and we wrapped him up good. He told us to, you know, make sure it didn't fall out. We just kind of went round in circles, you know, wrapping it up. And so when we was leaving, he was starting to have trouble breathing. And by the time we're walking back to the housing unit, we see some guards. So me and the other guy, we kind of went ahead so that we could, because the white shirt, the sergeant was shaking down, and so he would shake us down. Maybe he could get by, and this is what happened. But by the time he gets down there to where the housing unit's at, he is sweating. Gets in the housing unit. We're in the same wing with him. We go in there, and he's in his cell, and he's clawing at this, trying to get it off, and it wasn't coming off. So we went over there, and both me and my workout partner that was up there at the kitchen helped me wrap him up. We, and his cellie, all three of us, as well as himself, was trying to get this saran wrap off. Barely got it off of him. I mean, he was turning colors, sweating profusely. But it was things like that that all the time happened to me. He always went to the hole, and some of the times he went to the hole is for something he did, but a lot of times he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, or some guard just getting him for something. But he always, I mean, the poor kid, every time he turned around, something bad was happening. He was to him. But nobody really messed with him. They joked and teased him and everything. And one guy comes up to me one day and he goes, "Hey, go over to Joplin and tell him you heard he was from Webb City." And I said, "What's up with that?" I didn't know. He said, "Well, Joplin, Missouri, and Webb City, they're right next to one another. I mean, they're connected. And you really can't tell when you cross from one to the other. You cross the railroad tracks and you're into Webb City." And he said, "People from Joplin hate being called from Webb City." So I went over there and I said, "Hey, I heard that you were from Webb City." He goes, "I'm not from Webb City. Who told you that?" I said, "Well, is there a difference, between Joplin and Webb City?" And he kind of smiles and he says, "Yeah, you crossed the railroad tracks. You're in Webb City." He goes, "Somebody put you up to this, didn't they?" So I finally told him, "Yeah, I said, I ain't going to tell you who, but yeah, there was somebody put me up to, told me to mess with you about this." And he goes, "It's true, though." He said, "You really can't tell, except for the railroad tracks, from one to the other." And but this, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this kid, and all the trouble. He's not the only one I've met like that. I've met older people like that, and like I said, young people like that. They're the type that no matter what happens, it's just bad luck. Something's always bad happening to them. Like the softball, the saran wrap. Of course, the saran wrap was kind of me and my partner's fault. We shouldn't have wrapped it so tight or so much of it because we put a lot of it on there. But there was this one guy. It was similar. He was an older guy. I guess he was about in his 40s when I was in my 30s. And he, everything he did, it turned out bad too. He'd try to do something and he'd either get caught or something would go wrong. And I remember he getting out of the hole one time and gets moved in this cell, and it was an open cell. I mean, he didn't have a cell yet. That's very unusual. Usually when you get out of the hole and they put you in the cell, there's already somebody else in the cell. But in this case, both of them was empty because both people in the cell went to the hole. Well, he gets out and he gets put in there. And that evening, that very evening, they came around and this guard was doing random cell searches. He hadn't even got all of his property yet, I don't think. And so she gets to his cell and she goes, "Go ahead and step out, let me do the cell search and get this over with." And he goes, "Okay." I mean, he had nothing to hide. She goes in there and she finds a razor blade. Not in a razor. It was just, it had been taken out of the razor and it was just a blade. And to the hole he went. And he got out of that only because he hadn't got all of his property yet. And but he still had to go, he still went to the hole for a little bit. And just like Joplin, he's one of those guys that, that no matter what he did, he got in trouble. In this case, he didn't do nothing except move in the cell, get out of the hole, and get put in the cell. So, I just want to tell people, I hope nobody goes to prison. I always say that. I mean, you know, I don't wish that on anybody, but just remember that, you know, if you don't have problems with other people, or it doesn't mean you're not going to have problems. You know, it's just, sometimes you might just have bad luck, and I mean, I've had bad luck in prison. I've went to the hole for things I didn't do. I went to the hole for things that guards have done or have forgotten to do, and they blame me. But when you go to the hole, or something's going wrong every time you turn around, that's got to get old. You know. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. I thank you for watching. This is just a little video, so get you guys through the weekend, because you know, mainly I do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I figured I'd give you another one on the weekend and tell you about Joplin. And dude would keep you laughing, but you know, he always getting in trouble. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.